Hey guys, we're back again looking ahead at the 2023 depth chart for Kansas State football. First, let's go back and look at the departures. On the defensive line, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, King Felix, all Big 12, Defensive Player of the Year. He will definitely be missed. Huge talent, excellent pass rusher. Out of that three-man front, he could really bring it. I expect him to have a great NFL career. Jalen Pickle was the other defensive end we lost. Kind of a hybrid defensive tackle, defensive end in this 3-3-5 system. And then Eli Huggins is another huge loss there at nose guard. Super underrated player. In the defensive backfield, they lost three safeties. Josh Hayes was a guy they brought in just for 1 year. He was a heat-seeking missile. Drake Cheatham and Sincere Mason both rotated in a lot. You could really count on both of them. Solid players. At cornerback, they're losing both Echo Boydo and Julius Brents. Two guys that have been there for a while, lockdown corners. Julius Brents had that huge size advantage on the outside. Look for them both to be playing in the NFL. Julius Brents is rocketing up draft boards. And then Ty Zentner as a punter. He was here for a long time, really steady force on both offense as a kicker and defense as a punter. Now looking ahead to K-State's starting defense. At defensive end, I believe Khalid Duke will move back down. He was a linebacker last year, but I still think his more natural position is a defensive end. They got a few linebacker recruits. He can move back down and have impact now that Felix is gone. For the other starting spot, I have either Brendan Mott or Nate Matlack. I expect them both to rotate a lot. Brendan Mott had the bigger year last year, but Matlack was injured. I think Matlack will come back and have a solid year, but I am a little bit worried without Felix. Is it going to be a situation like in 2017 when they lost Jordan Willis? We all expected Reggie Walker to come in and have a great year, but without his teammate on the other side, he just wasn't as effective. Hopefully with all these guys that we have, somebody will step up. Backing those guys up, we have Cody Stufflebean and Donovan Ryman. Stufflebean has been here a while. He's a solid player. You can plug him in anywhere on the defensive line. And Ryman has a lot of potential. He redshirted last year. Jordan Allen and Ryan Davis I have on the next line, two true freshmen. Allen looks like one of the best recruits we've had in a long time. He could play tight end or defensive end. He's super athletic. At nose guard, Uso Seumalo returns. He's a huge guy in that middle. He looks pretty athletic to go along with it. I don't know if he'll be able to replace everything that Eli Huggins did for us, but he's somebody I'm pretty excited for to see what he can do. Javon Banks comes in from Mississippi State. I believe I heard that he started out as a middle linebacker, then switched down to defensive end, and is now going to be playing nose guard for K-State. That's quite the body transformation. He looks really athletic. A little bit smaller than you might want for nose guard, but he's another guy that I'm really excited to see how he does. Then on the last line, I have Damon Ilalio. He got in on that goal line stand at TCU for the Big 12 championship. He's got a lot of potential also. Now to linebacker. I'm really excited for linebacker. I thought we might be losing a little bit too much, but Daniel Green surprised everybody and decided to return. And of course, Austin Moore comes back for his senior year. Those two guys never seemed to be healthy last year at the same time. At the start of the season, Austin Moore was kicking ass, looked way more athletic than I expected him to, and we all saw what Daniel Green did in 2022. If those guys can click together, this can be a really special group. On the strong side spot, I have Rex Van Wy. He's an incoming recruit from junior college. The guy is an athletic specimen. He is huge. He can move. He can play with his hand to the ground, get after the quarterback. But if he doesn't end up being the starter, it's probably because Desmond Purnell took over the starting spot. He's more of a safety linebacker hybrid. And of course, there's Gavin Forsha, who came in as a junior college player last year, got on the field a little bit. With another year in the system, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he became the starter. Backing up Green and Austin Moore, I have Jake Clifton and Terry Kirksey. Jake Clifton came on as a true freshman last year and looked like a total stud. Once he gains a little more weight and a little more experience, watch out for this guy. Kirksey is another junior college guy. I think we all expected him to come in and start right away before Daniel Green announced he was returning. If he's okay with being a rotational player, this could easily be one of our best linebacking groups in a long time. On the final line, I have Toby Osunsami, really good recruit we got a year ago out of Wichita, super athletic, still kind of learning the position. And then Asa Newsome, another really athletic-looking true freshman. Can't wait to see what he can do. Now on to the cornerbacks. Even though we lost both our starters, I'm not as worried about this position as I am the defensive ends. Jacob Parrish returns. He played as a true freshman last year and looked really good. He's super athletic. Honestly, kind of reminds me of a young Terrence Newman. I'm not saying he's going to have that kind of career, but this guy is fast. On the other starting spot, I have Will Lee. If you follow recruiting at all, you probably saw that we beat out Alabama in their late push for him. He's another really long 6'2", 6'3" cornerback that should replace Julius Brents nicely. If he doesn't come in and take the starting spot right away, there's a whole host of other guys. Jordan Wright redshirted last year. Omar Daniels has gotten to play a little bit. Even a guy like Keenan Garber, who switched over from wide receiver, might have a spot. And then lastly, I have Donovan McIntosh, another true freshman who I'm really high on. Moving on to safeties, I'm only concerned about this position if Kobe Savage has any problems coming back from his knee injury. It was a pretty substantial injury, but Savage, well, he's a Savage. He's going to come back. He's working hard. I have every bit of faith in him that he's going to return to his form. VJ Payne played a lot as a true freshman. He's going to be a star in this defense. He reminds me of a Rashad Washington type. Huge, he can run, can lay the wood. And Marquise Sagal comes over from North Dakota State. He's another guy that's following the Russ Yeast, Josh Hayes, Ray Cheatham kind of path. I really trust the coaches when it comes to safeties. Kleiman was a safety in college. Our defensive coordinator was a safety. He's a safeties coach. These guys really know what they're doing in this department. Backing up the starters, I have Jordan Perry, who redshirted last year, Nikendry Steiger, who redshirted last year, Max Marsh, who came over as a walk-on quarterback, but is really athletic and has a great frame. Behind those guys, there's several true freshmen coming in, some guys who have played on special teams. This might not be the deepest position as far as experience, but there's a lot of young guys coming up. I have good faith in them. Safety looks solid. At punter, Jack Bloomer comes back. He's a super senior. He got some playing time a couple years ago before Ty Zentner really came in and started dominating. We don't really know how much he's improved, but it's always a good option to have a 6-year player. That's it for my defensive depth chart. I'm not going to predict a Big 12 championship right away. I want to wait for spring practices and summer practices, but I'm still pretty high on this team. This team has really solid depth. All I need to see is if they can replace their star power. Right now I'm predicting 9 wins, but I really wouldn't be surprised if they do even better than that.